Hello there, Christine here at the craft table. I know I haven't made a video in a while, so I apologize. No real reason other than I just needed a break, so there it is. I have a health update for you and a crochet update for you. I have been crocheting a lot of stuff. I think that was part of it. I just felt like crocheting and not making videos. So that's what I did. Anyhow, on the health front, let's see, this morning it's been 4 weeks since my last weigh-in. Well, my weigh-in with you all. I still weigh myself every single day. I last reported I was at 201.6. That was shortly after a 3-day fast that I did in the beginning of January. I was at 202.6 this morning, so up 1 pound. Over the past 4 weeks, I've had minor ups, minor downs, constantly. So I did go up pretty quickly, about 3.5 pounds right after I had gone down like 6 after the fast. So understandable, because when you're fasting, obviously, you just get rid of all that inflammation and all that water weight, and then as soon as you start eating and drinking again, some of it comes back, in my case. So I hope to do maybe a 36-hour fast once a month. So I will be looking to do that here soon in February. Other than that, I'm feeling great. I continue to exercise. Have to keep moving. I have realized that. I do not want to be so sedentary, because that's what, well, does not contribute to good health for me. So need to move more. I've started shopping in the store again, simply because I'm not happy with pickup orders that, I don't know, 80% of the time have something wrong with them, or something I ordered was out of stock and they just didn't show it out of stock on their website, but it was. Or I'll get bad produce, and it's always a hassle to call and get a refund, or even if you do get a refund, they only refund you your money. They don't refund you your time and effort in going to the store. I kind of think a full refund would be showing up at my door with the product that I ordered that I paid for, but they're not going to do that. So I decided a short while ago that I would just start going into the store. I'm healthy and certainly able to do that now, and so it's worth it to me just to get an order that is complete, and I know everything that I'm buying and taking home with me. And I'm not going to get home with cracked eggs or rotten strawberries on the bottom of the box and all manner of things that happens when you're doing pickup orders. So yeah, one thing that helps me when I'm in the store, I think I may have mentioned this before, I use an app called Yuka, Y-U-K-A, and it really helps. It rates everything based on the UPC symbol, and so you just scan that and it'll give it a score, whether it's excellent or good or fair or bad. It'll give it a number, anything from 0 to 100, based on the nutrition and any chemicals that it might have in it that are harmful to you. So I really appreciate that app, and it's free. And so even this last shopping trip, there was a couple things that the label looked like it was something healthy. And so I did a quick scan, and Yuka actually said it was bad. It gave it a score of 0. And I didn't take the time to see why. It might have been chemicals. I don't know. I just put it back on the shelf. It was something I had never eaten before. It just, you know, one of those temptations you walk by that is on sale and looks looks good from the outside, but yeah, I'm glad to have that app. Oh, one thing I have also realized is, I've said it before, I don't want to be legalistic. I don't plan to not eat any sugar ever again, or, totally avoid chocolate and bread, even a donut now and then. But I've noticed that when I indulge, or I guess I should say overindulge, it'll usually set me back a little bit, like I'll be up a couple pounds the next day. But it takes me the rest of the week to get back to where I started, or maybe half a pound lower than what I started. And I'm starting to get frustrating because my journey is so slow, but it's slow because I am doing these things and making it that way. So I've decided I really need to indulge myself less in those treats that don't seem to be highly troublesome at the outset. You eat it and, you don't gain 10 pounds immediately, but it slows the progress so much so that in itself is discouraging and can lead me to frustration and not wanting to continue. And that's just not an option. So all that to say, I need to watch those indulgences. If I can't be satisfied with 1 or 2 bites, then I should just forego it altogether. And I think I will see quicker progress that way. If I am satisfied losing 5 pounds a year, I could continue on my present course, but that just does not sound appealing. So I don't think the indulgences are worth that. And if I'm honest, some of those things are actually starting to taste too sweet or too salty. And so that's a good thing, because maybe my taste buds are actually changing and I don't want to go back and reintroduce all that. I'm chewing on a clove and it just cracked and it's very spicy. This is another random tip. Chew on a clove, a whole clove. You have to suck on it for quite a while till it's soft enough to actually chew on. But it is it's a good thing to do, like if you kind of have the munchies, or if you've eaten your dinner and you're just looking for that something sweet afterwards. Take the clove and it really does turn off that desire to go eat anything else, because it's like, what can I compare it to? Maybe big red cinnamon gum in your mouth. It just takes over. Anyway, and I believe they're good for your digestion if you take a clove once a day, or 1 or 2 a day. I usually do 1, either last thing in the evening, because that's usually when I want to munch on something, or sometimes just right after a meal to turn off the desire to keep eating. Okay, so there you have the health front. And I definitely need to keep feasting on the Word, the Bible, because as I fill my mind with those scriptures, they really do help me stay more alert and spotting those temptations for what they are and just saying no. And it was neat at the grocery store a couple days ago. I would look at, the end caps, or I don't know, they're everywhere. The bright colored boxes of donuts and whatever. And all I said was processed, processed, processed. And I kept on walking because truly those are your highly processed, dangerous foods. And so if I kept reminding myself that I was trying not to buy highly processed foods, it just weeds out all of that stuff, and you can walk right by it and say, nope, no, not good. I'd like to leave you with a scripture that really encouraged me recently, and it helps me not to be too hard on myself when I do have a slip up. It's Romans 8:31-39. What then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, who is against us? He who did not spare his own Son, but delivered him up for us all, how will he not also with him freely give us all things? Who will lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God who justifies. Who is he that condemns? It is Christ Jesus who died, and what's more, who was raised, who also is at the right hand of God, who also makes intercession for us. Who will separate us from the love of Christ? Will tribulation, or anguish, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? Even as it is written, for your sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in creation will be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. I just think that's beautiful. And now for crochet. First off, I have finished this beautiful crumpled, just give you the details. It's called the Crumpled Griddle Stitch Gingham Blanket. It is a baby-sized blanket, and it is gorgeous. There's a border, row of double crochet and a row of single crochet, corners. It is a nice weighted blanket and measures about 39 inches by 41 inches. And I'm just really excited to have finished this and to have learned this pattern. I'm sure I will make it again. The color choices are just endless. And I used Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton in the colors aqua, white, and aspen. And I used a total of 1,434 yards, 5.5 millimeter hook, and this pattern was from Daisy Farm Crafts. It's a free pattern on her website, and she also has a nice YouTube tutorial to help you learn the stitch, but super easy. And the biggest challenge in this is carrying the color you're not using behind or under the stitch that you're working. So while I have this light blue, I am carrying the dark, or light green, whatever. I'm carrying the darker one behind it. And you can see it, but it's not so much that it's off-putting or looks strange. It kind of just looks like part of the design. When you're working the white, you're carrying the light blue behind it. And I think it just adds to the beauty of the pattern. So there you have it. And I love checkers, checked patterns. And yeah, anything else, I highly recommend this pattern. The yarn is a joy to work with. And go on their week with 30% off, and that is usually every other week, and you can get the yarn at 30% off, which is still, I mean, it's reasonable even not at 30% off, but take advantage of the sale when you can. So that is that. That blanket took me, I started it in November and finished it in January, so 2 months, a little over 2 months. And I do not crochet many hours a day. Maybe I'll get in 2 hours if I'm lucky. 2 hours. So yeah, totally doable and enjoyable. And it did seem occasionally like it was going very slowly, but it's not bad, especially if you're just doing a baby blanket size. It goes fast enough. Okay, next project, and this was a headband I found. She sends out a newsletter, and she showcased this headband on one of her newsletters. And it's just a really cute winter headband that's, I had it upside down. There, looks prettier that way. Super easy to make. And like I said, this is also from Daisy Farm Crafts. The yarn I used was from Bag O' Day Crochet. I got this out of her bargain bin on her Etsy store. And it is a merino wool Pima cotton 50-50 blend. The pattern was called Bernat Future Hope Twist Headband because she made it with Bernat, that yarn, Bernat Future Hope. But any 4-weight yarn would work, and this is a 4-weight. The 5mm hook. The color on this was denim. I don't think it's a color that Bag O' Day carries. That's why it was in her bargain bin. The pattern was free on Daisy Farm's website. This is 21 inches long before you join it, and it stretches, so I'll show you. It fits very comfortably. I'm gonna mess up my hair. There. Covers the nice coverage on the ear. Yeah. So, real happy with this. I've actually worn it. Very pretty. Very pretty. I have also finished my Christmas socks. These were made with Mary Maxim Festive Feet yarn, and the color was candy cane. I used a total of 393 yards for both socks, and that one skein was enough for that. I actually bought 2, so now I have an extra. And the pattern is by Olga Poltava, her socks for chubby feet. These fit me a little bit loose, but that's fine because I wear them to sleep in. So they're nice and comfy. I haven't worn these actually yet because I was waiting to show them to you before I start wearing them. But they will go into the rotation very quickly here. It takes a 3 1/4 hook, 3 1/4mm hook to make these a size D. And the yarn is fingering weight sock yarn. Very easy to work with. I was happy with the yarn. It's not as soft as, say, 100% superwash merino. This is actually 75% wool and 25% nylon. And it comes in a 437 yard skein. So again, that's enough for a whole pair. But they're not too rough, and I'm sure they'll soften up when I wash them. So yeah, very happy with these. And happy to be done. No, they weren't done in time for Christmas, but that's okay. Again, I highly recommend that pattern. I love working that pattern, and it's very easy to follow. I do recommend watching her tutorial that she has on YouTube just to learn how to do the heel, because that's probably the trickiest part. But it also has a very nice heel, a very nice fitting heel, and no bumps on the heel or the toe. Very smooth pattern. This one I searched out because I wanted to make, I was running low on hats, and we went through a real cold spell here recently, and I needed a nice thick hat. So I took out my bulky yarn. I started with the yarn, and then I looked for a pattern for bulky yarn and came up with this Bag-O-Day hat, and it is called, this actually took a 6.5 millimeter hook, and it's called her Slouchy Hat. It's got a 21-inch circumference, and it's 9.5 inches tall. You can do the pom-pom with or without. I actually just tied it with a bow on the inside so I can take the pom-pom off when I wash it. See, it's just a bow. Because I've noticed in the past my pom-poms kind of get beat up in the washer. So this way I can take it off. And this took 125 yards. I used Loops and Threads Cozy Wool in the color Caribbean Sea. I don't know if this yarn is still available because I have had it for several years. But I like the hat pattern. It was very easy and worked up very quickly. The only thing was she had a beginning chain of 54. No, she had a beginning chain, I think it was 50. I used 54, and it still came out just slightly snug. So, word of caution, if you should make that slouchy hat pattern, measure your hat or your head or that beginning chain around your head, because the worst thing is to make a whole hat and then realize it's too tight. This fits, but like I said, it is snug. I'm hoping, now this is really gonna mess up my hair. I'm hoping it does stretch out a little bit, because that is snug. But it is warm. I took a picture from my channel and put it on there so you can see it there too. But yeah, it's warm. So there's my hat. This was a very quick make, like I said. I am going to succeed in looking quite horrible by the time this is over. I wanted to make a scrappy type pair of socks. So I had several yarns that I had won in a giveaway that Diane at My Pink Bathtub did. It was her Christmas, I think it was her Christmas in July giveaway. And she had a whole box of wonderful yarn that I won. Diane is in Canada, and she mailed it to me. And just some lovely little yarns, but usually one or two skeins. And so I had loved, these are like, this was a mini, and so was this. Well, actually all three of them. This is koi goo. It wasn't, I still have some left over of this. It wasn't as small as these two skeins. These two were lichen and lace. I think it's like hand-dyed stuff. Very soft. And so I threw them all together because if you look carefully, the colors, these colors are in this speckled stuff on the koi goo yarn. So I figured it was close enough, and they matched. They look a little scrappy, right? They're cheerful colors though. I can't wait to wear these because they are very soft. This koi goo yarn is luscious and it's very soft. Now this pattern is the V-stitch sock, also by Olga Poltava. And lately I'm really liking this one better than the other sock pattern of hers I use, because that one is a closed stitch, and I don't know why, but my feet have been getting too warm at night lately. So I end up pulling off the socks halfway through the night. But when I wear the V-stitch ones, I don't even notice they're on. My feet just stay nice and comfortably warm all night long. And I think it's because they do have that little bit of airiness to them, because it is a V-stitch. You can see, you know, you've got some ventilation there. So, yeah, just very comfortable. So looking forward to wearing these because of that, and because they are a nice soft yarn. Very soft, squishy. The green one is called Koigu Painter's Palette Premium Merino in the color blue green, and I used 98 yards for these two sections. And then this yellowish one is Lichen and Lace in 80/20 sock yarn in the color Hollyhocks. I used the whole little skein that was 73 yards. And then this is also Lichen and Lace in 80/20 sock in the color Rosehip. And I only used, well, I marked the whole skein used, but I did have a little bit more left over of this one. The orange. Did I? I think so. Not much, not much. It's pretty much both, now that I think about it. So, very nice, and excited because these didn't cost me a thing. All prize yarn. So thanks again, Diane at Pink Bathtub, for gifting me these beautiful yarns and making these wonderful socks possible. So that was a very happy make. I really enjoyed working with these yarns too. Gorgeous, nice to work with. And that V-stitch sock works up so fast. You'd be amazed. I think I've made those in 2 days. I started on the 22nd of January and I finished on the 27th, so 5 days. But like I said, I don't crochet a lot every day, so they worked up so fast. Next up, I did several of these Scrubbies. I think this was the first one. I've been wanting to make more Scrubbies with this pattern. This is a pattern by, there's a lot of them out there, but this is by a tutorial by Llama Mama. Is that what she's called? I just went blank. Kayla, Llama Mama Kayla. She has a tutorial for this Loom Knit Scrubby. So it's made on this 24 peg loom. It's the smallest size if you buy the set at Michael's, and super easy, and it actually uses less yarn than I did. I recently, I'll show you in a minute, I did another Scrubby with a crochet hook, and the Loom Knit one used a lot less yarn. And this yarn is Scrubology, Yarn Bee Scrubology Scrub It, and it is very, it's like a rough sponge. Very spongy and like kind of like a emery board feel to it. So it's a little challenging to your fingers, I'll be honest. But it's wonderful to wash dishes with, to scrub your pots and pans with. That's why I keep making them, because I really like this yarn. You just can't crank out 5 of them in one day, or your fingers will be sore, very sore. So, and I realized that using the Loom Knit pattern is also easier on my fingers than the crochet hook. Well, with the pattern I picked up, so. I made that one, and then I made one combining this yarn with another Yarn Bee, hold on. This is 4 inches in diameter, and it took 20 yards. And again, it's my favorite kitchen scrubby pattern. The next one I made was the same pattern, but you hold 2 strands together, and the other strand was Yarn Bee Scrubology cotton. So it's a scrubby yarn, but it's cotton. It's not this rough stuff. So it gives you a little different texture and easier on your fingers. And it makes the scrubby a little bit bigger, obviously. So this one is a 5-inch diameter, but same concept and working it on the loom. It's kind of pretty. I think these would make nice gifts. So did those 2. And then I did one more because I'm just loving my scrubbies. I bought several skeins of this yarn, and so I want to use it. So I finished up the pink, and then I picked up the purple, and it came out in this really cute design. That yin yang type design. It's kind of cute. This pattern, this one was actually pretty challenging because it used more yarn, so it took longer, and it's all scrubby. It's all the rough scrubby yarn. My fingers did get a good sanding with this pattern. This is called the Spiral Scrubby, and the pattern is by Judith Prindle. I used a 6mm hook, and it took 36 yards total. It was 13 of the pink and 23 of the purple. The pattern is free on Ravelry. It's a written pattern, but Nastasia did a video tutorial on this pattern with the designer's permission. And I highly recommend watching Nastasia's video, because for me, I could not follow the pattern by itself, the written pattern. Once I saw the video, it was a piece of cake, very easy, but just visualizing how the written pattern is written, I'm not that good with written, just solid written instructions. But once, like I said, once Anastasia made it a piece of cake, it's actually very easy. And I think it would be even easier with using like just regular kitchen cotton, like Lily Sugar and Cream, one of the sturdier kitchen cottons, so that you have some substance to scrub with. So I would use either Peaches and Cream, the one Walmart sells, or the Sugar and Cream. I think either of those would be great. Even Crafter's Secret cotton at Hobby Lobby, that one would be good. Not the Hobby Lobby I Love This cotton. That one is pretty soft. It's more like for garments or blankets. But the thicker one is a good kitchen cotton, the Crafter's Secret. Anyhow, the spiral is, again, not as difficult as it might look. You make a whole flat piece, and then you just fold it, you do one seam, and then you cinch the two ends together. So this is big too. This is like, I don't think I put down how big it was. No, I guess it's probably, yeah, it's probably about 5 inches across, but nice and thick as well. So I'm looking forward to scrubbing my pots with all these scrubbies. Carmen Heffernan, Annie Crochet, Annie Design Crochet. She has a newsletter that she sends out, so you get it by email. And she had this free pattern for a heart pouch, and it looked so adorable that I had to make it. So it's just with scrap yarns, but I thought, wouldn't that be cute for Valentine's Day? You just make 2 granny squares with the heart motif in them, and then you stitch them together. And then you make this cute little crab stitch border around the top. Oh, you add a few more rows to give it some length. And then make the little drawstring, and you've got a cute, I don't know how to make a drawstring where you pull them and it shuts tight. Anyhow, you can do this. And maybe put some candy in there, or stickers, or what else was I thinking of? Oh, I was thinking of like some of my favorite verses to pull out. Anyway, but I only made one because it wasn't as easy as it looked. I think maybe it was the yarn I was using. This is well, this is like a bamboo, cotton bamboo blend, and so it's kind of slippery. And then this is a 2-weight acrylic, no, DK acrylic, and you're using a pretty small hook, 4 millimeter. I think it was getting a little bit splitty on me, or it was the dark green. I don't know. I was not enjoying making this. So if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to want to make any more. And I wasn't thrilled with the, I know it's the granny stitch, so it's kind of broken up. You know, it's not a solid heart, if you can see. You just work the stitches to make it look like a heart, but I've seen better hearts. So it is cute, but I don't think I'll be making more. But as I was scrolling through YouTube videos, I came across another heart tutorial that I loved the look of it, and so I had to try it out. This one was by My Secret Yarnery, Krista. Now, see the difference? I mean, they both are cute, but see how this one is more solid in the borders. It was actually easier because on this one you have to carry your well, you have to switch colors in the midst of that third row, or that third round. 1, 2, 3, yeah. And so that was a little bit of a hassle. This one you don't at all. You work the pink completely and then you go to the green. So for that reason, I loved it a lot more, in addition to it being a solid heart. So if I wanted to make bags, I think I would use this pattern instead. Also, I have to say, she did a wonderful tutorial on this little heart square. If I could recommend how to do a video, YouTube instructional video, I would direct you to Krista's video on this heart, because she just, it was so, the video quality was great, the instruction was slow but not too slow, the hook placement, she showed you exactly where you were putting your hook, and after she gave you the instruction for the round, she typed it in letters in the square or on the screen. Just everything was perfect on that video. I just was so impressed by it. Anyhow, I love this little heart. So there's another one. My blanket that you've actually seen before. It's called the Bavarian Stitch. Okay, this is a Bag-O-Day crochet tutorial on YouTube. Her pattern is called the Bavarian Stitch Rectangle. And here's how far I've gotten so far. Is that not beautiful? I just realized I've got the camera in the wrong position. Sorry about that. Hope that's not too irritating. Anyhow, there's my blanket. So far, I'm not finished. I'm going to do probably 3 more rounds of white and then go back to the blue. This is Bag O' Day's tonal, what's it called? Her new yarn that she came out with. Tonal hues in the color 7Cs. And what happened was I ordered 5 cakes of it, and then I found the pattern that I wanted to use for it, but I didn't have enough yarn for what the pattern calls for. So that's why I added in the white. And the white is just Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. So 100% acrylic, and isn't that beautiful? The tonal hues is very lovely. It's very soft, a little bit halo-y because of that softness, I guess. So I'm wondering how it's going to handle the wash, but it is very soft. Little bit splitty for me. I am using a 6mm hook, but these are all triple crochets, so maybe that's the problem. I'm not so great with triples. I'm getting a lot of practice with them though, because it's all triple crochets and chains, as you can see. So, but the end result is just gorgeous, in my opinion. So, I'm happy to be making progress on this. And I've wanted to make this blanket for a while, so when I got the tonal hues yarn, I thought it's just perfect for this. I think in her tutorial she used Red Heart Super Saver in the ombre, so it has the same look. This is also yarn I won from Diane at my pink bathtub. Barocco Folio. I have wanted to use this ever since I got it because it is so soft. But I only had 2 skeins, so I had to find the right project. It's 65% superfine alpaca and 35% rayon. And each ball is 219 yards, so I have 440 yards. And I found this cute little scarf by Carmen Heffernan, Annie Design Crochet. Isn't that cute? I guess it's hard to see against my shirt, but there you go. It's like boxes. And it's just a sweet little scarf to tie around your neck. And it is going to be so soft. It's going to be so lightweight you can hardly feel you're wearing it, I think, because already it has that feel to it. These are 50-gram balls, and I think I'll just use a little over one ball. So the pattern is called Mora Mesh Scarf by Carmen Heffernan. Again, it's available for free on her website, and I'm using a 4mm hook with this, and it's just adorable. Super easy pattern too. Once you pick up it's really easy to pick up. It's a 2-row repeat, and so yeah, you won't have to look at the pattern after you've done the first several rows. And I have like, I don't know, 180 rows total to do. So I'll be working on this for a while, because as cute as it is, the working with the yarn that thin and soft can be challenging. So I will just be honest. This is the DK. Feels more like a 2/8. Maybe because it's so soft. Yeah, it's so light. It is a little bit challenging not to keep my tension loose enough, because it's tempting to tighten up so I can feel it. But that's going to be a darling little scarf. Another video that I scrolled past. Oh, this is the one that I Love Loopy Crochet did. I actually watched her video, and she showed the hat that she had made, and it was so darling that I had to go to my stash and find a yarn that was right. And I couldn't, so I made do with what I had. This is Bag O' Days Cloche, is that how you say it? Cloche hat. It's called Crochet Flapper Hat by Bag O' Day, and she has a YouTube tutorial. So you can't see what it's gonna look like because it's not done yet. But this is where I am so far. I'd say I'm, I don't know, 40% done. This part has turned out to be kind of challenging. Oh, here's the yarn I'm using. This is Yarn Bee Chromatic Spectrum, a wonderfully soft yarn that I got on one of their clearance sales, $1.49, regular $5.99. It is 100% acrylic, but it is made up of, as you can see, 2 yarns twisted together. And it is a, I think it's a DK. Yeah, it's a 3-weight. Well, Bag O' Day's pattern called for a 4-weight. So I decided, in my brilliance, to use 2 strands. So great plan, except because of the construction of these, it's kind of mesmerizing when you're working that. Wouldn't be a problem except for the pattern on these rows going along the side. You're working in the 3rd loop, not the, you know, when you see the V. See, it's even hard for me to show you. You see the front loop, the back loop. It's called the front, the back, and then the 3rd is behind. It's this short little loop that you can barely see here. Here's one, it's clearer. That's behind the V. So you have to find that little loop. And because I'm using this crazy yarn that's now at times 3 different colors, because the purple runs through them all, but sometimes this other yarn changes throughout the skein. It changes from green to blue to pink. And they're not even, I started with them coordinated, but they were different lengths, so they're off again. So yeah, it just makes it really hard to find that back loop. I did it to myself, I know. If I had just gone with a solid color yarn, I would probably be done by now. But I created quite a challenge. So if I work on it during the day when I can open up the window and use the sunlight, it helps. Or just make sure my eyes are very fresh and my lights are very bright, because yeah. So I've only pretty much done 1 row a day on this part, and it's probably about, what, 6 rows of working in the back loop, the 3rd loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that all? 4, I guess it's 5 rows total that you do that. Hopefully that'll be it, and then I can go back to normal crocheting. Because other than that little one technicality, it would be fine. It's going to be a pretty hat and very soft. So I need patience with this one. Cute pattern, pretty yarn, but lesson learned. Examine the pattern before you commit to the yarn. See, I had already done the whole crown when I realized I was going to have this challenge of the back, the third loop. Yeah, okay, enough said. I watched a video. They all start that way, don't they? I watched a video. I watched a video by Olga Poltava. She was explaining how she had reduced her prices on her patterns, FYI, in her Etsy and Ravelry shops. So if you have wanted to try any of her patterns, now's the time, because they are super reasonably priced and you can take advantage of some beautiful patterns. Well, I love her lace work. She does wonderful lace patterns, and so I picked up some of her patterns. I think I bought like four or five, mostly bookmarks, because I was just drawn to the beautiful lacy bookmarks that she's done. And it wasn't until I had already downloaded the patterns that I realized some of them are done with actual crochet thread, not yarn, but thread. So thankfully, Hobby Lobby is on their 30% off week. So I went and picked up a ball of crochet thread. So this is my first time working with crochet thread, size 10, and I had to pick up the hook to use with it because these are tiny hooks. This is a 1.3 millimeter. She actually called for a 1.25 millimeter on her pattern, but I couldn't find that size. 1.3, this was actually a set, and the 1.3 was the smallest one in the set. So I picked it up. The single ones, I think they started at 1.4. Anyway, it was the closest I could find to a 1.25. And I started one of her bookmarks. So here you have, it is a lace. It's like a leaf motif. I don't know how you say that. Isn't that cute? Now, it's gonna look better when it's blocked. That's why I'm stretching it. But I have 8 inches to go. Well, 8 inches total will be the bookmark. But it's surprisingly not as difficult as I would have imagined. The hook does all the work for you. The challenge is maintaining your tension. You have to get used to working with the thread and holding it tight enough so it doesn't get loose on you or fall off the hook, because that's probably the most my most common problem right now, is getting that tension to be steady enough so the lace doesn't drop off my hook. I find that sometimes I'm pulling it too tight, and so then I pull the hook out of it. But that's going to be so pretty. I will enjoy using that bookmark. So this is new to me. This is totally new, working this size of thread and hook. Exciting stuff. I've only been crocheting for about 6-7 years. Wow, time flies. I used to say 3 years. Where did the other 4 go? Yeah, but time to learn something new, and I'm excited because I think one other of the patterns that I got is with lace weight yarn. And the others are like with a 2 sport weight, and that I've done before. So fun stuff. That it was the last. I can't believe how many things I finished and have going, and I just had a lot of fun crocheting this past month. I forgot to mention I will be on Conversations with Judy coming up soon. Please tune in and check it out. She already has a reminder video of the live set up, so you can go in and ask it to notify you. Yeah, it's called Conversations with Judy. So it's February 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So whatever that works out for you. It is on Judy's channel, and it'll be a live stream for probably about an hour. We hope to have some lively discussion, and you can certainly join in the chat, and I hope to see you there. So I'm excited for that. Coming up soon. 1 week. All right. See you later.